Good morning. Buenos dias, as they say out here in Costa Rica. What a gorgeous day, isn't it?
It is so beautiful. We're at the top of the marina looking down.
It's like the marina's down there behind us. It's just beautiful.
We've done some videos from the marina, so this is a beautiful view of the marina itself, which is home to some of the world's most beautiful boats on occasion, right? They come here and they dock, and we've seen...
home for a bit, like the hermit crabs. They just find their spot to rest from the storm. This is Papagayo Bay is a bay, obviously, away from the rough waters of the ocean. So to Karen's point, it's a deep water bay. A lot of big yachts come in here.
Yeah, I think
cool.
Last time or the time before, Steve Jobs' boat that he built was in here, and there was
he designed it.
He designed it, right?
It was built after his death. God rest his soul.
Right. And some of the world's largest and most expensive boats come here and dock for a bit, which is just fun to watch them.
Yeah, some have been here for a long time. I'll tell you, it's amazing. It takes a lot to maintain those yachts. We go out there and walk in the morning and see the crews, people working out maybe on the dock, the crew, and then you see trucks delivering all the produce, and obviously it's like a small condo complex on the water, so they have to stock those things up. It's crazy, but it's a whole life in itself. But hey, we wanted to talk to you today about I guess in reality transurfing language it's called pendulums, but we were talking about today about you were determining the germs of the masses.
Right. And I like this because it really appeals to everyone who's maybe not studying reality transurfing or other forms of spirituality. This makes so much sense to me, is that we let the germs of the masses infect us.
Well, what are
just
the
like the flu.
What are the germs?
So, for example, politics, right? So some people get really worked up with politics, and if we engage in that, if we choose to engage in that, we can let those germs of negativity infiltrate our systems, whether we're with the person we're conversing with or against them. But either way, it becomes so heated that it can actually make you physically, mentally, and emotionally ill, like a flu germ.
Right.
And
absolutely.
It made so much sense to me. These germs of the masses. There's so many different examples. Whether it's in any organized group of anything, the germs of the masses can infiltrate into your body and infect you. And some people, are okay with that if you want to be part of that. Some people like to have that infestation. It riles them up, and it gives them the angst and the...
Well, it's a sense of meaning for people.
Some people.
Well, why do you join a group to begin with? And groups, just to be clear, are everything from absolutely politics. That's a hot one right now. I can see.
We bring that up because it's very hot right now.
Well, I leave names off, but I have friends that I see them one way or the other, and they go crazy. I mean, insane. I'm going to say, just because it's they get so riled up.
Right, and we upset. See on Facebook the banter that they create back and forth. Is not just them, but the people that engage back with them. Right. It goes both ways. That there is a desire to acquire these germs and these illnesses, as I'm going to call them. It's not a true illness, but it gives people, the tumultuous element in life that some people really thrive on. And what you and I have been striving for is really the exact opposite. We're looking for the peacefulness and the silence and the equality among the masses, as opposed to the differentiators, which can sometimes and often be the germs. Organized religion is another great example, or cults. or tribes.
I think more wars have been fought, more people killed over religion than anything else. But
right.
So it's not just it's not just politics. It's not just religion. Be careful. We're on the edge of a cliff here. I hear something rustling around down. I don't know if it's a jaguar or a boa constrictor, but keep your eyes out.
I hope we get to see whatever it is.
But anyway, it's even as small as sports teams. I was at Whole Foods in Arizona just the other day. We were back there and we had some meetings, and I'm sitting there waiting for someone to show up, and this guy next to me is screaming. He's all by himself at a table. Everyone's looking at him like, is he okay? He was yelling at a TV that was all the way across the room because there was a team on and somebody did something that he didn't like, and he was obviously very disturbed. His face physically ruined his day, head in hands, the whole 9 yards. I just looked at him and said, dude, I didn't say this. I said this myself, but you're not part of that game. It's amazing, the energy that
you're
people.
You're not on that team.
the energy that people put in.
But he's not alone. I mean, the amount of people that follow basketball teams, football teams, hockey teams, and their life, they let the germs of the masses affect their life. So if their team doesn't win in the playoffs, or doesn't win in the World Series, or just doesn't win a game, they are literally feeling terrible.
Well,
so that's the germs of the masses infiltrating. Whereas,
to further your analogy, when we moved to Chicago, I ran a big sales organization. We had Wisconsin, and up in Green Bay, you guys know who you are. They were all crazy about their team. If Green Bay, if the Packers lost on a Sunday, lots of people would call in sick on a Monday, and I said, what are you talking about? They said, Jeffrey, you don't understand. They're really into the team up here, and some of them, their day's ruined. They have to call in sick. I won't tell you what I said, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just, it's craziness. But it's sports teams, it's religion,
right.
It's cults, it's groups. There's all kinds of. Right. By the way, there's no such thing as good or bad. I mean, everybody has opinion on each one of these things, and some might say, well, that's a bad group or that's a good group. Well, it's not a bad group to the people that are in it. The point is, in reality transurfing, they call it a pendulum. We're just calling it, I guess you're calling it a disease. I was calling it bad seeds.
Well, not a disease, but a germ. But I want to make it very clear that we're not saying, it's,
you're not saying it's
bad to follow your favorite sports team, or it's bad to have a particular political party, or it's bad to be part of a religious group. We are definitely not saying that. What we're saying is that when you choose to be part of that, you need to make sure that you're not letting the germs of the masses infect you and your love for, let's say, hockey or football or politics, so that you're enjoying it instead of letting it infect you and make you physically, mentally, spiritually ill. And that's what happens. Like you said, people call in sick. They are so down when their team that they've identified with as, part of their health.
Yeah, but so
right?
You don't have to just become sick with this or crazy about it. It's well, this is my point. It takes your time. Life is so short. It sucks up a lot of time, and you gotta wonder, like, how much control did that gentleman have who was screaming at the TV over the game? I can answer the question. Zero. So he's spending a lot of time and energy, and he's got no control over the outcome. You can go through every one of these groups, and someone was talking about this just the other day, that because someone is part of that group, there may be something negative about that group that somebody else feels, and all of a sudden that's on the new person that's just joined the group. And it's an interesting concept when you think about it, because we as humans, I don't have to go look at some old psychology books or something, but people love to belong to groups, right? Whether it's, I'm just going back to my life, going to college, I joined a fraternity. That's a group, right? So all of these things are groups, and, it takes lots of energy. And I think what you're saying is, obviously you don't want it to make you sick, but you also have to understand how much energy am I putting into it, and how much effect am I having on the masses because of it, or anything at all.
Right.
And is it serving me well? I mean, I guess that's the question, right? Is it serving me well?
Right. And are you letting the germs of the masses infect you? Or, I mean, you can enjoy all of these things, and, you know, the wonderment in all of these things, in sports and religion and politics. I mean, I find a lot of it fascinating and interesting, but it doesn't affect my day, my moment. I
Right.
can't let any of, you know, those things, a team that loses, a president that loses, a president that wins, an incumbent that drops out, none of those things are going to affect my life. I find them interesting, and it's okay to discuss it, but what we don't want is to get sucked into the vortex of the germs of those masses. And a lot of people do, because it gives them, again, that tumultuous feeling that some people want to experience in life. Some people feel that's living, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what is
Some
of
people love
interest to
drama.
you.
They love drama.
Right.
Some people, right? They thrive on it. You've heard that before.
Right.
When I was a young sales guy, Tom Hopkins used to call it bad seeds. You know, if someone was coming in and complaining about something, whether it be politics or whatever it is, he'd just say, like, get out of my office. It's bad seeds. You're planting bad seeds, and those bad seeds get in your brain and sprout. That's the whole idea about bad seeds, similar to the germs that you're talking about. But
Right.
yeah, you know, I mean, but I think it's human nature. It's our egos, right? That while we're on this planet, we love these things. I don't know why, right? I don't know why we gravitate to groups, but I think most people do. I mean, we all have. I'd be curious if there's anyone out there that says, "Hey, I've never belonged to a group." But you know, Karen and I were talking about this morning when we did our morning meditation, and you were talking about an individual we know that's really quiet. We met her with a group of people, and she didn't say 2 words, and we said, "Is she okay?" Yeah, she just doesn't really speak a lot. And we were just thinking, maybe she's got it figured out. Like, she's focused on, you know, maybe she's focused on her spiritual self, and, you know, above all this, at the end of the day, maybe she's got it figured out, right?
Right. I mean, someone might say, you know, oh gosh, you know, did you meet so-and-so? She has no personality. But, you know, maybe she has something, like Jeffrey said, figured out that the rest of us have not, where she is really enjoying and observing everything, and is in a total state of bliss and you know, enlightenment that we're not aware of. So this talking, I mean, even what Jeffrey and I are doing right now is all the ego talking, and we are doing it. We really want to share our knowledge, which is egotistical for us to think that we know something that somebody else might be interested in learning. That is very egotistical, but that is part of humanity, right? And you know, we definitely feel that we have been sent on a mission to share this. Why else would we be so gifted to find each other in this huge world and have this unimaginable, extraordinary, outrageous connection and love for all of these years? And then we look around and we see that a lot of other people don't have this. And I cannot tell you how many people tell us, I want what you have. And so therefore, our egos, which are really your personality, you know, someone's telling us, share this information with the world, because everyone wants it and everyone deserves it and everyone can have it. What we have is attainable for everyone.
Anything is attainable.
Anything is attainable.
Right.
And if you say, well, I don't have that and I want it, what you're putting out there is, I don't have that. What you need to put out there in the universe are the things that you want. And going back to the germs, I'm sure none of us want the germs of the masses, because that takes up space for things that you do want. right? And so what we're saying is it's okay to love your sports team or your politicians or whatever, your religions, but make sure that they're not overtaking so that you are excluding what you really want to get out of your own life.
Unless that's what you really want. Let me just say that, right? So everybody has to make their own decisions. I mean, who are we to say? I sent something to my mom today, and she had some religious comment back, which is fine. That's who she is, and that's what she believes, and I think that's great, and I love it. At the end of the day, that's her decision. I guess that's just popping in my head. Some people may want to be part of that group, and they might feel like that's their life mission, to be part of this group, to move the ball forward down the field, so to speak, for the group. They might be out there to say, you might be part of Greenpeace, saving the whales, or here in Costa Rica, there's a lot of groups that are focused on ecology, and that might be someone's desire to, and that might be what they say, hey, Karen and Jeffrey, this is what I was put on this planet to do, to be part of this group.
Absolutely.
Part of the soccer team.
Absolutely.
Right? That's what it is.
But, again, if your team doesn't win, if you're part of Greenpeace and you don't have a win maybe in Congress, most of those people, instead of giving up, they're going to take the good out of it and move forward to... You hope to get something else. Otherwise, you get stifled. We feel like we're both plant-based, and we do like to share that. However, my day is not changed by what Jeffrey eats or my children eat or the rest of the world. I can't let that change my day or infect my day, because this is all I have right now. Right.
Well, you can't. I mean, at the end of the day, we must be the change that we want to see.
Exactly.
Right. That's it. You're setting the example. Right. Again, it's an example, and what you feel is right. Right. But
Absolutely.
you don't have to put it on anybody else, but be the change that you want to see. Right.
Right. I met a woman yesterday, and I don't even know how she knew I was plant-based, because I never even spoke to her before.
Because I talked to her about coffee.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. So she came up to me at breakfast and kind of laid into me about, I'm just fine the way that I am. I mean, I didn't even get to say a word to her. And, cholesterol is in my, high cholesterol is in my DNA, and I have no way to reduce that. And she went on and went about what she eats, and she's not plant-based, but she said that she eats just right, and she doesn't need to have any business of what I'm talking about, which I didn't talk about. I guess she knew from whatever Jeffrey and she conversed about. So I flat out said to her, because she's on cholesterol medication, I said, have you ever tried going plant-based to see if you were able to get off that medication? Because she made it very clear that it was genetic, and that there was no way for her to ever get off of it. So when I asked her that question, it was the only thing that quieted her down for a minute. She was silent, and she thought about it, and she said, well, no, I've never tried it. So the point is that, she's letting the germs of the masses infect her, whether it's the germs of the plant-based masses or the people that have genetic diabetes, or doctors will often, they don't usually tell you diet and change. Don't let the germs of the masses dictate your life. Make your own choices. And you don't have to be so funnel focused, right? Wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love from Costa Rica.
Okay, guys, just go ahead and click around on here and subscribe. We'd love to hear your comments on this, and as you know, we're writing the book, and we're incorporating some of these stories and some of the comments into the book, so we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and especially, we know that you sports fans have a lot to say, and we do want to hear it. I know it affects you, and I want to hear about it. We want to hear everything, so please do make a comment. Tell us how you're thinking.
All right, see you guys.